Hi, Ahsan. I know we talked quite a bit already, but I was wondering if you would go ahead and introduce yourself a little.
Uh, um, Thank you so much. My name is Ahsan Salim, and I'm working in a telecom company called DIDX Inc., DIDX.net. I'm running the operations for the company. It's a voice over IP company. I'm with this company from the last 15 years. Right now, I'm running the operations, the company based in the US, in Florida, and we have customers around like 120 different countries. We have telephone numbers from 80 plus countries. This was the professional introduction. Coming back to the normal thing. So as you know, everything is locked down. We are getting more chance to spend time with their family. Family members are happy because they can also spend time with us, with the parents and everything. And I think this coronavirus thing gives chance to people to think about how what are the things which they need to buy. Either they really need to buy the luxury thing, or they need to buy the normal. They need to spend the normal life. What are the important things in their life? How do they need to go further. I think these are the very. Uh, I think this will gonna open their minds with how they need to spend the remaining life. Sorry, you didn't ask me, but I just wanted to add it here.
No, I think that's fantastic. I mean, I think you're totally right that people were sort of going through a routine in life, and this event has made them take a step back and kind of look at it again.
Right.
It kind of woke them up from their sleepwalking that they've been doing.
Yeah.
Uh, so, well,
It's like we destroyed a lot of trees. We destroyed the whole earth. Now this is the time to step back and see either the things which we destroyed, those things can be rebuilt again, or if we come out again from our houses, do we need to destroy those things again, or we can make sure that we will not gonna hurt anyone, we will not cut the trees, or we will not destroy earth. Um, all those things which we were doing, most of the things were destroying directly or indirectly. So I think it's a very good chance that we all need to think that what are the things and what are the things we need to do after once the lockdown time is over, and what are the things important in our life. I think that is very very important that we need to think about it. But
so after the lockdown's over with, what is one change in your life that you're doing now that you think you'll keep? Something that either you stopped doing that you'll continue stop doing, or something that you've started to do that you'll start again or keep doing.
so before lockdown, there were a lot of goals or the things which I was trying to purchase. Everything was attached with the money. So I think that will be more. I will step back in those things, and I will think and I will rethink either what which things are most important for me for my life, and I think I will, let's say, if I wanted to buy a new iPhone, I can go ahead and do that. But I think after the lockdown, I will think twice that do I really need to buy a new iPhone, or my current iPhone is okay and it's working perfectly, or I can save that money and invest somewhere else, or I can keep it at my home. And there are a lot of other things which I can do with the money instead of spending it on the new iPhone. I think most of the people will start thinking like this. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, and like, is there anything that you wish wish you had at home that you don't now, that after the lockdown you would go and get, like uh I mean, uh fitness equipment, or maybe something to cook with, or something to like make uh you know kind of help you kind of survive situations like this in the future?
So, okay, if you allow, I would like to share my story. So,
Please.
uh, so normally when before lockdown, whenever we have time, we go for outing. If we have like 2 3 hours, we go for a dinner. We go for a seaside, and if we have like a whole day, we go to the beach or travel from one city to another city. And we and in this lockdown, we realize that we don't have anything at our in our home to play with, or we don't have anything for the activity. So in the when there was a lockdown started, I start searching on internet, that which things I can still buy, like the games, the physical games, um, the badminton thing, football. I bought I bought a small car, a small cycle, one scooty for my daughter, and couple of other things which I never thought that I should buy for her because there was no time. And I think at least for a year or two, I will definitely gonna stick with this plan because one, it's a time saving. Second, it's a money saving. Most important thing, because whenever we go out, we spend like $100, $50 to $100 for a dinner or for a lunch for in an outing. However, with those $100, so in Pakistan, $100 is a lot of money. So in $100, you can buy a lot of things for your family members. I realize in this lockdown that I don't have to buy a branded clothes or the branded watches, the very expensive which I was purchasing from San Francisco especially and Miami, because I was having a craze that time that this looks very nice, or this brand is very nice. It was some things, couple of things which I purchased especially from the in my traveling. I think I will gonna stop that because I think there is no need, and I can buy the same things, or not, maybe not the same things, but kind of the same thing in a less amount. So I think I will be more spending time and money instead of outside. I will be doing it inside my house.
That's really interesting, especially about the games and the things to do at home. One of my hobbies is collecting books. I have way more books here than I could ever read in my life. I was wondering if that's something that uh, is something you'd like to see more of at your house, is like more reading material, things that maybe weren't on the computer that you could just physically get
Yeah.
and open up.
So because I spend a lot of time on computer, I have couple of books, very interesting books. But I still, if even if I buy those books, I still prefer to read or listen them on internet, because I know I can sit here for like 10 hours, 12 hours, no problem. But I will start reading from a book, uh, I might stop liking it after like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, because that's something which I know it's wrong, but that's something I was not doing from the last 6 to 8 years. And everything I was reading, learning, or polishing my skill, everything was coming from the internet. So until and unless we have the internet connectivity available, uh, I think it will remain on the internet instead of getting on the books. But yeah, I prefer my. I know it's a wrong thing, so I prefer my my kids to read books daily, read newspaper daily, or I ask them to read at least 1 hour, give 1 hour to the books. Even they also like to read them on an iPad, but I force them to sit down and read books, read from the books instead of getting listening or watching it from an iPad. I think books are more uh, if I think when you are reading from a book, it's a very old fashioned, but still, I have seen that people who read from the books, they are more. I don't know why, but they are more. They have more knowledge. Uh, they have their own. Their different personality. I can say that. I think maybe because they are very few people or less people as compared to the people who like to do everything on the internet, just like me.
Um, have you ever seen one of those e-readers like the Kindle?
No, I think no.
So it's like a handheld computer. It has a black and white interface, and it's just meant for reading books. Like it doesn't have
Oh,
any chat or anything, but it's like thin, and you can carry it with you, and you can like access, millions of books.
okay.
Um, and I was just curious and what you thought about that because for me, I'm like in front of the computer and all day, and I like want to do anything other than stay in front of the computer. Like, get me away from the computer. It's like kind of my feelings towards the end of the day. Um, so one of my passions is about space exploration and thinking of the future of humanity. And one of the projects that I'm working on, this countdown to the moon, is basically NASA's planning to land people back on the moon in 2024. And I thought it would be neat to get a different person's perspective every day between till the end of 2024. I've done about 125 interviews so far. I
Wow.
I have like 1,713 more to go. Um, so I guess first off, do you know the last time we had people on the moon?
No, I'm sorry.
Would you believe 1972?
I didn't understand what you're saying.
Oh, so the last time we had people actually stand on the moon and look back at Earth and walk on the moon was in 1972, more than
Okay.
about 48 years ago. So um, in 2024, it would have been 52 years since the last time we walked on the moon. Um, and I was wondering if you mentioned you've been to Pensacola, to Miami. The Kennedy Space Center is also in Florida. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have you
I
visited
didn't get
there?
a chance. No, I didn't get a chance to visit it, but it was in my future trips that I will definitely gonna visit that place.
But what do you think about space exploration? I mean, do you think so I could give you kind of some ranges to help you out. Um, do you think it's like a waste of money and we should be spending that solving problems here on Earth? Or do you think it's like key to like the future of humanity or somewhere in between? Like, what's your thoughts?
So I have a very limited knowledge about the space thingy and the moon things. So whatever the knowledge I have, it was from uh, either from the news or from the movies which I watched, which show that how you start planning to send the person from the Earth to the moon, and the kind of things they did for the planning for 1 year. The people travel like for months and months to reach the moon and all those things. So I was not very I was not interested in that particular topic, but when I saw a couple of movies and I saw that countries, it was actually based on the uh, a real story. The last movie I watched based on the moon, it was an Indian movie, and they tried to send their uh, what do you call they tried
Astronaut?
yeah, the astronaut from Earth to the moon, and I think it was they were failed at the very last moment. They spent a lot of billions and billions of dollars, but still there was something went wrong, and they were not able to get success. But that's how I normally uh, that's how I my interest starts in this particular subject. Uh, so I think it's a good thing, but I don't uh, deep inside me I don't believe that it can happen. Um, in some movies I watch that you can buy a ticket and then the companies will help you to go from Earth to Moon, and in on the Moon they have their own life, they have a different world and everything. But but I think uh, it might not be possible um, because a lot of money involved in it. So maybe one or less than 1% will get a chance if there is any world. If there is another world available on the moon, there might be a chance that 1% or less than 1% people who are alive, who are living on this earth will get a chance. So I think it might not be possible, but uh, that's what I'm saying as per my knowledge and my experience. I'm pretty sure I might be wrong. That's all. What can I say here?
I know the future is unbelievable. If in like 1902, you saw the first airplane that only flew for, like 15, 20 seconds, it would be very difficult to see that and imagine the Boeing 747 or an Airbus. And then, if you saw like computers from like the 1950s, 1960s, it's hard to imagine that. And then seeing the iPhone,
Mm,
um, and so it seems impossible. And then technology changes, and you see a big shift in things. Have you heard of a guy by the name of Elon Musk?
yeah.
So what do you know about him? Like, what are some of the first things that come to mind?
Um, I didn't get a chance to see his documentary. Um, I know he's a rich person. I have very basic information about.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
born in South Africa. He went to Canada for a little while after high school to work. Then he went
mm,
into California
uh,
and started a online business listing store back when the internet was just really becoming popular, and sold that to Compaq Computer Corporation. And then he helped to uh, found PayPal, and then
yeah,
he
but
created
the
Tesla.
I just wanted to add one thing here. Um, um, uh, the thing I think he's working on a SpaceX project.
Yes.
So I know his vision is very different as compared to other people. Tesla is one of them example. PayPal is one of them example. And whenever he brings up anything on the in front of the people or on in a plate, uh, a lot of people like me say it's not possible. So I know I am one of them. He has done um unbelievable things in the last couple of decades. Um, so, well, sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to add a few things here.
No, no, that's awesome. But talking about the 747, did you know that a rocket costs about the same amount as a 747? But the difference is the 747 can fly passengers for 20 years, you know, whereas a rocket, the way that we've been doing them, can only be used one time and gets thrown away, which means that is extremely expensive. And so he's really focused on reusability. His big thing is we need to build a city on Mars to ensure the survival of humanity, which is kind of, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, if Elon Musk were to say, hey, I'm going to be spending um, tens of billions of dollars to, create a million person city on Mars, what would you think?
So the first thing pop-ups in my mind, that if Elon asks you that we took interviews of 1,000 plus, around 2,000 people, and if you would like to send them to the Mars, I think you will take my name as well, because I am one of them who is giving you the interview. So I think one of that wish will come true. Uh, uh, so um, um, I don't know if it's possible or not. I mean, it's a very, for me, it's something my mind says yes, it's possible according to the things and the technology is coming, but my heart says it's not possible. Maybe it's because of the belief, because of the religious thing, but my heart says it's not possible. But what I'm seeing right now, Tesla is one of the example. Nobody thought that the cars can run without gas, without batteries and everything. You can have so much, like you can buy so much luxury cars where you don't have an engine. So he's doing everything, but still, as I said, my mind says, my upper body says that yes, it's possible, but deep inside my heart, I think it's coming because of the religious thing. My heart says that it might not be possible, and instead of putting money on something which we might not achieve, we should spend that money to help people, um, to add more tools in people's life, polish their skills, so they can become better person and better human being. But that's my personal saying. Um, if somebody is not, if somebody has objection, I respect that. As I said, it's my personal thing. So I'm not saying that you are wrong, or if you have a different opinion with me. So I will not say that you are wrong. Whatever you will say, I respect that.
And that's exactly my viewpoint as well, is that, you know, I'm interested in collecting as many perspectives as possible. And I like to hear genuinely what people think and feel and how they think about the matter. But you did mention something that you felt like it was hard for you to envision that as being possible. Then you thought that maybe it came from like your understanding of religion. I was wondering if maybe you could kind of talk about that a little bit more. Like, what what about um, the religion makes you feel like it might be impossible?
So I think the person who has more knowledge in the religious point of view, I think he might be the right person to talk about it. I have a very limited knowledge. I try to be a practice Muslim. I try to be a Muslim, but unfortunately, sometimes I failed. So, but I will share whatever I know. I think it's not the reason I was saying back from my heart. I was saying I think it's not possible. It might not be possible because, in a religious point of view, we know that somebody uh, um, on in the sky is is in charge for the sun, the moon, the clouds, and everything which which human does not has the limit to reach, or things which are not in humans control. I think someone is uh, has control, and that person is not from our is not from human beings who are living on earth, but he has some other powers. He's very powerful. That's why the sun comes on, shows up on time, goes on time. Again, the moon shows comes on time and then go again. What will happen if the sun comes out and sun says that I will not go, I will not uh, I will not go down again. I will just remain wherever I am. So that will not, of course, that will not make sense. So I think there is a power who is controlling all those things, and that's why I think it will not be possible, because it's not in the human's power or human's control. If you have control on something, I can request you, maybe I can buy that from you, or I can convince you to share with me. But if something is not, let's say, if air is not in control of in human beings, we cannot control that what pressure do we need to send in the Asian countries, what pressure do we need to send in African countries, what pressure do we need to send in in America or somewhere else. So I think it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing, and someone is controlling all those things. So try to uh, we should not try uh, to stop it, or we should not try to step in his circle or in his area before things got broken, or we face any kind of a disaster.
And
I don't
uh,
know if it makes sense or not.
no, it does. Reminds me of it was actually a joke, but it's kind of like this boy asks his father, is like, why does the sun rise? And the father says, it works. Don't mess with it. So uh,
Right, right.
so um, but in terms of like so like the stars that we see at night, um, I mean, from from what our astronomers are telling us is that those stars are just like our sun. Some of them are like other galaxies, which is like millions and billions of our suns, and that almost every star has planets around it, just like the planets around our sun. Um, I was wondering, does that, I mean, do you think that's true? And then are not? And if you do think it's true, then how does that kind of make you feel about our place in the universe?
um, I don't know if it's true or false. I would say if anything like this exists, or people think that yes, anything like this exists, then we should at least try it out. And maybe the SpaceX people who are working in the people who are working in the SpaceX thinks that there is another world or place available at the moon, and that's why they might are working to see either we can reach there or we cannot reach there, or how we can reach there. So I don't know what else should I say about it.
So the other thing that you're
You are
mentioning
asking
about,
very hard questions now. You are very good in the starting.
sorry. Okay, another hard question. So let's say somebody said, I was going to spend this $20 billion to, um, go to the Mars. Hassan, tell me how I could spend this $20 billion to make life better on Earth. How would you spend that money?
So I think there are a lot of people who are spending money to making other people's lives easier, and there are very few people who are ready to spend money to uh, to try new things or to try the things which SpaceX is doing or to going to the Mars. So I would prefer to try on that thing instead of spending money on people, because there are a lot of other people who can do that. But the person who thinks that uh, going on moon is possible, there are very few people. So I would uh, I would appreciate that money to spend on that particular project, because humans, you spend all the money you have on in this world, people will still complain and people will still say that they did not get it, or they will still remain hungry, they will still face problems. So everything, these all these things are a part of life. Even if you spend billions and billions of dollars, they will still face the problem. They have they know how to complain, so you cannot fix their issues. I think it's better to spend those money on the project, the moon
That,
project.
that's an interesting question. I mean, an interesting point. You know, it reminds me, I know it's like from the Christian religion, but Jesus once said, you know, you'll always have the poor with you. So it kind of reminds me of that saying somehow. Um, Now, the internet seems like an amazing, amazing tool. Um, you can literally go to YouTube right now and find videos on how to program, how to cook, how to repair your car, how to paint your house, how to um, do sewing, how to, I mean, pretty much anything you could imagine. You can find like a YouTube video on or a website that tells you about um, or anything. And um, yet so I think there's like two things. One is not everybody has access to internet. Um, and I was wondering if you thought everybody in the world being able to get online and access the internet would improve society or not make a difference or maybe make it worse. I was wondering what your views were there.
So I think instead of giving or spending money on the people who don't have food, or who are needy people, I think add the internet and the mobile phone in their basic life. For example, you might laugh, but when the kids, when we have a newborn baby, instead of instead of trying, or instead of thinking that what he will do when he grow up at the age of 10 or 15, I think we should give them a mobile phone and the internet. So he has a separate phone, separate laptop, and once he start growing, he can use those things. It should be a compulsory thing. If someone comes or born in this world, government should be responsible, or in some countries government, yes, because they can afford, but parents should be responsible to give them these basic tools. Otherwise, the kids cannot be survived if they don't know how to use mobile, how to use internet. Because if you don't know anything, you can go to the internet, you can learn, you can polish your skill, you can add new skills from the internet. However, if you don't have the internet, you cannot do anything. Even if you have uh, thousands of dollars in your pocket, one day you will finish them up. But if you have the internet available, you can double that money, you can learn how to make more money, you can do a lot of new things. So I think internet should be a basic need. Just like you cannot go outside without wearing clothes, so the person should not be remain the person should not be breathe if he don't have the internet and the cell phone and a laptop. So that's what I would say.
Have you heard of something called Starlink?
Starling. I think it's a they provide some kind of a devices.
Well, the Starlink I'm talking about is another Elon Musk project to put like 5,000 satellites around the Earth. And any place on the Earth, you could take this antenna, stick it outside your house, and you would have high-speed internet access.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
so, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of Africa, if you're in the middle of the Pacific, if you're in the middle of China or Europe or Latin America, you could have high bandwidth internet. And in order to launch
It
these,
that works with the satellite.
it's going to work with the satellite. Yeah. It's
Okay,
going to be like
but it will
five.
be very very expensive, right?
I think it's going to be about the same cost as getting high speed internet to your houses now.
I a month ago I was in San Francisco, and I met with a guy who was working in Apple from he worked with Apple from 1986 till 2014. He was one of the technicians in the Apple, and he was living more upside in the San Francisco. So he was telling me that he don't have the fiber or the internet. He was using the satellite. So I was just curious to know. In my curiosity, I asked him that how much is that the bill is same or expensive. He said it's very very expensive to use the satellite internet as well as the satellite TV because we don't have the cable TV and everything in our houses. So I think it's very, very expensive, right?
I think that's for the current satellite providers, but the impression I get from this network is that it's going to be very, I mean, the pricing hasn't come out yet. They're still working on
Oh, okay.
launching the satellites. They don't have enough up there to provide coverage. Um, One issue you have is, the Earth is like spinning, and most of our satellites are in geosynchronous orbit, so that they orbit around the Earth at the same speed as the Earth is rotating, so they stay right above the ground. But the problem is that's like, something like 35,000 miles out, and it's actually a really slow connection to send a signal out that far and come back. These other satellites are really close to the Earth, only like 200 miles, like 400 miles away, and they're spinning around the Earth much quicker than the Earth is turning. And so you have to make sure you have enough satellites up there so that um, there's always one overhead. So it's going to make it faster for sure. The price hasn't come out, but the feeling I get is that they're going to have such capacity that it might be very comparable to saying having a cable modem or DSL or what have
Oh,
you here. So
okay.
um, I mean the
That's
antenna
interesting.
maybe cost a few $100s. I This is what I'm hoping. We'll find out soon enough. In a year, we'll know the exact price and it won't be a question.
Uh,
Um, so, uh, if it were safe and affordable, as safe and affordable as getting on an airplane, would you have any interest in personally going like into orbit and experiencing weightlessness and
of
uh,
course, yes.
you would?
Yeah.
Not
I
everybody says yes.
um I think the things which we have not tried one in our life, I prefer to do everything at least to try it out that how it works, how it feels, what kind of a pleasure we will get. So I prefer to try everything. Even if I know I eat that food, uh, I think I don't like. I think some foods I don't like it, but if I had not tried out, I would prefer to at least try once or twice to see it might gonna change my opinion about it.
Have you been skydiving?
Uh, I tried couple of times, but I have a very fear from the height. Even I if I when I'm so from Pakistan to to Houston, it's a 16 hours flight. So I don't try to take the window seat because I am having a I don't feel comfortable if I'm sitting at the window seat and watching outside. It makes me feel uncomfortable. So uh, skydiving, that's why I didn't try it out. Uh, I have a fear with that.
Me too. But you have a rooftop where you are. Your building is
Hmm.
what? How many
Just
levels?
two-story, two
Oh, two
levels.
stories. Okay, because I've
Yeah,
been on the top of like 14, 15 level buildings, and
yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
rooftops.
I cannot go to the
Neither can
rooftop.
I.
No, I cannot.
I get close to the edge, and it's just like the hard.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I have no trouble flying though. Like even a small plane, I've been taking flying lessons, and
Okay.
I feel okay in the plane. So it's like, but skydiving, I couldn't imagine doing that. Like having
You
nothing
can try in
around
the
you.
Dubai. You can try it in Dubai. They have a couple of experts, skydivers, and they allow you to dive with their trainer as well.
Yeah, that's that. I would need that because I'd be afraid of passing out and not pulling the cord. That would be bad. So, well, I know it's really late there. Did you have any last things that you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so very much for inviting me, and I really feel honored that you are taking opinions and interviews of of different people. And I really wish you all the very best uh, for the upcoming interviews. Um, I hope you will continue this till 2024, and in 2024 or in starting 2025, you will share some good news with us that you have completed it, or we are going to the Mars or something like that.
That would be awesome. And if you know of anybody that I can interview, please get them in touch with me, as I'd
Sure,
like
I
to.
will.
I'd like to do that. But I'll go ahead and stop the recording then.